ladies and gentlemen. Today's very special guest is Miss Jade Alexandria. We're going to talk about acting and art and industry and a whole lot of other things. And ask y'all a question: people of color, are we still separated by color, even in our own communities? Hey, you don't want to miss this show. This is going to be a good one. This is definitely earbud and coffee conversation. TBR Live. Interesting conversation with interesting people. Let's go. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. Our very, very special guest is Miss Jade Alexandria. We're going to talk about life and career. And, we've been threatening for a long time to tell some jokes. We might finally get that in. So, welcome to the show, Miss Jade.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
All right, so standard first question. Who is Jade Alexandria?
Is that the question?
That's the question. Yes, ma'am. That is the question.
Interesting. Okay, so that's my first and my middle name.
Okay.
For the last, for the last 6 or 7 years, I actually had a stage name that I was using. It was Duchess.
Okay.
I have a huge obsession with the movie stars from the 50s, the 40s and the 50s. And so I was always like inspired that they had these, their on stage names and then like whatever the names were in real life. So my favorite is Norma Jean, which is actually Marilyn Monroe. And so back then I was inspired to kind of rename myself. But as of recently, I'm like, you know what? I have kind of grown out of that a little bit. I still respect, that people do it. But I was like, I think I'm ready to use my real name as my stage name as well. So little backstory for you.
Okay. All right. Okay. So you are an actress, correct?
I am. Yes.
Okay, so how did you land? How did you decide to become an actress?
Let's see. So I think I was like 8 or 9 when I saw The Preacher's Wife with Denzel Washington and Whitney Houston.
Okay.
And that movie made me decide that was what I wanted to do. I wanted to be like Whitney Houston's character. And so, of course, I was inspired by the old movies. But I went to school at Tennessee State University for communications and sociology. So originally, I kind of had planned to do the news. And I was like, no, I don't like the way it's all like set up and run. So, and that was my junior year of college. And so I just decided, you know what, I'm actually just going to go ahead and start trying to figure out how to get into acting. Because back then, like 5 or 6 years ago, it wasn't as easy to find like acting jobs and stuff like that in Nashville. So, how I got into it was I started to write my own short films. So, because I couldn't figure out where to audition at. And then if I did find an audition, I either didn't fit the character or they wanted a different look. So I was like, I'm going to write my own stuff. Therefore, I can be in it, star in it. So that's basically how I got my start, was like writing my own short films and stuff. And that actually led to me being able to create my own reel. And then I was able to send that out and, book some more jobs and stuff like that. So, yeah.
Okay. All right. So do you have a preference on stage or in film? Do you have a preference?
Definitely in film.
Okay.
But I've never really done theater acting. I did a little of high school. But I think I prefer the kind of hustle and bustle behind the scenes, that atmosphere of the film life. So yeah, I definitely prefer film.
Okay. All right. So how has everything that's going on with quarantines and all that stuff, how has that affected sort of the arts?
It's definitely slowed down because most people are like film sets. It's usually in between, depending on how small the film is, you know, it can be 5 people in a crew plus the actors, or it can be like 25 crew members. So because people work in like close proximity, you know, pretty much at a halt. But people are slowly starting to film again, you know, with like, you know, new COVID rules, mask, 6 feet, you know, not as many people around if you guys don't have it. So my acting career has kind of been on hold. So I've been more writing.
Okay.
Because like I said, auditioning is like, you can find stuff, but then it's also like people are nervous about it and etc. So I've been writing more, and then I'm also a social media manager. So that's what I've been doing mostly during this time.
Okay. All right. So which do you prefer? Writing or acting? Which one do you like more?
Oh, that's a tough one. I think I prefer acting more than writing, like, but I love them both, but I'm very dramatic and really extra. So being on camera allows me to be able to do that, but I love the process of writing and coming up with my own character and world and then seeing that come to life. So I love them both, but if I had to choose, it'd be acting because I can't be that extra when I write. So
Okay. All right. All right. So beyond being extra, how would you describe yourself as an actress? What type of actress are you? Method? Are you extreme? Or who are you as an actress?
I would say I'm a storyteller.
Okay.
I am self-taught, and so I don't really. I just actually started taking acting classes a year ago. I've been doing it for 6 years, and everything I've pretty much known up until recently is self-taught. So I think I'm just the type of actress that wants to connect with the script
Okay.
and see if I can connect and tell that person's story.
Okay.
So I want it to be more realistic to me so I can give a more realistic performance. So
Okay. All right. So how do you decide which roles to take?
I think I'm kind of in the fact that I have a wide interest
Okay.
of genres. So I like everything, but I like to find, I actually like more darker characters that are more complex. So I'm super bubbly and outgoing in real life, but I'm usually playing like the killer or the crazy person, uh, or sometimes like mean girl. But I like a challenge in the script and something that's like not super close to me. But I don't try to like box myself in, but if I like the story, then I'll do it. And if there's somewhat of a challenge in it, then I'll do it.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. All right. So I have instigator in my personality. Okay. So I'm gonna ask you a few questions that might stir up a little bit of trouble. Okay.
Okay.
So diversity in organized arts, does it really exist?
I think it's starting to,
Okay.
but it hasn't. So before I started actually acting, I got into everything through modeling. And when I started to just more focus on the industry, because I just wanted to learn how to be in front of a camera through modeling. When I started studying the industry, of that. Let's just say like in modeling, you can have 20, 25 white models who are blonde, brunette, redhead, and there's no limit for them. But you can only have maybe 4 to 5 black models, and that'll be the light-skinned girl, the dark-skinned girl, the brown-skinned girl, the mixed girl, and then the girl that, looks like she's probably from like Africa, like Nigeria, West Africa, very like sharp features. And so it's as if you're kind of pinned against the other black women. Not this, but jobs are scarce because there's not that much room for us. But so that's what it was when I came in. Not so much in acting, but more so in modeling. But I think that started to take a turn when Instagram blew up, because companies started seeing that, Black women, Hispanic women, whatever color women can have these huge followings and make money. And then, so then came like, companies started taking on the Black Girl Magic movement of, uplifting Black women. Now you see like all of these different commercials talking about embrace your hair and this, and I'm like, y'all didn't say that, 3 years ago. I'm glad that people are becoming more open to it, because diversity meant that you had 1 or 2 people of color and that you were good.
Okay. All right.
But now, yeah.
Okay. All right. I'm glad you mentioned that. All right. So my first question is diversity within sort of our race, or not diversity, but are there any issues between us in terms of dark skin, light skin, brown skin? Is that a real thing in our community?
I think so.
Okay.
And I think that all of that stems back from slavery and has just carried through generations and manifested itself in different forms. So, in slavery days, lighter skinned people got to be in the house and got to be treated better. And so over time, light is been perceived to be better.
Okay.
And so, I mean, a lot of people now, which is great, are embracing themselves, but there's always kind of an underlying issue of, light-skinned people are better, or dark-skinned people aren't as good, and then brown-skinned people are just kind of in the middle, and we're, just kind of like here, So it definitely is, that's real. And like the people are starting to talk about it more. I'm starting to see it talked about more on like mainstream television, like Oprah, her network talks about it a lot, about colorism within our community. So it's real. I think it's getting a little bit better, or at least it's starting to be addressed more, I'll say.
Okay. Do you see a solution for that?
There is a solution, but I don't know if it will ever like be solved, I guess. Just in our community, parents and, kids, like everybody just has to know that we are all Black, no matter what shade we are, we come in different shades and forms and hair colors and skin colors. That's what makes us amazing. And that no shade is better than the other one, because light is perceived being closer to white. So I think when you cut that out and saying like, we're all beautiful, like we are stronger together than apart, then that'll happen. But I don't know when that would happen.
Okay, I got you. Okay, so you mentioned the Black Girl Magic movement. And my question is this: whenever, and it's been happening for years, but I've never actually, I don't think I've heard anybody actually talk about it. When a corporation embraces a movement, does that help or hurt the movement?
I think it depends on why the company supports the movement.
Okay.
Because let's see, so like Pantene, which is a hair care line, Pantene has been helping, or has been a part of the movement for about the last 4 or 5 years, and you actually see trying to include all stereotypes of Black women. So companies that are actually trying to embrace Black culture and show more of what Black women, and men look like is great. But then you also have companies, which is why a lot of Black people are weary to saying like, oh, they support Black people or Black lives. Some companies are just trying to get the Black dollar. Mm-hmm. So put on there, we support Black lives, and you're not going to all the Black people that have been putting money in your company. So I definitely think it helps, but it just needs to be the right company, I guess. I don't know. But I do think any sort of step is good, because at least it's a step. It may not be the perfect type of, like, it may not be the perfect step that we want, but at least there's something happening. There's motion for it.
Okay. All right. So, major roles in film and television and all of that, having Black women in these roles, is that getting better, or is it getting worse, or has it changed, or what's your view on that?
I don't know that it's changed, but I do see more Black women coming into different roles. So for instance, when I first started trying to be in acting, directors had a hard time figuring out where to cast me.
Okay.
And so it was like, I could play the lead role of a mean girl, but I wasn't blonde. So they wanted to make like the sidekick best friend. I was like, no. I'm gonna be the lead, be the mean girl. And I'm starting to see more like Black women audition for these roles, at least. And I think some networks are helping it to change. So like, I love Lifetime, and Vivica, is it Vivica Fox? Yeah, she just became like the new queen of Lifetime. Like, she's in every Lifetime movie now and playing the role of like the crazy wife killer. I'm very excited, even though she's killing people, to see, but that role historically has been saved for white women.
Okay.
And they could be blonde or brunette or redhead, but not for somebody that looks like us. And so, like, also on Lifetime, you just start, like, I'm seeing more and more Black women and men, being on Lifetime. Like, yeah, great, but then now they're serial killers. So I'm like, well, at least you got the role. At least we're in the door. So I think it's happening, but I wouldn't say like we've made a huge step, but I'm seeing like sprinkles of it, I guess.
Okay. So one of the things that I'm definitely going to get in trouble for saying this, but one of the things that has always bothered me. Okay, so I'm a comic book junkie.
You said a comic book?
Yes, ma'am. I love comic books.
Yeah.
And one of the things that always frustrated me, well, in the last several years, is when a long-standing male character is turned into a woman. It's now a female character. And my concern with that is I have no issue with strong female characters, none whatsoever. But my issue is, why can't she be like her own person? Why does it have to be the female version of the guy? So I see that a lot in comic books. Does that happen a lot in film and in television?
Um, I actually haven't paid so much attention to that, but I guess the way I can relate to that is the Little Mermaid that's coming
Okay.
out. It's
Okay.
Haley Haley who's getting ready to play the role of Ariel. And so honestly, that's the exact way I felt about it when they announced that she was playing the role of Ariel. Because I'm a huge Disney fan,
Okay.
and so like I'm ecstatic for any Black person that does something big or gets a milestone. But at the same time, I'm like, well, why couldn't they give us another original Disney character? Like why are they giving the role, like why are they putting her in the role of Ariel? Like it's a little strange because I think like how you were talking about the comic book characters, you get attached to the storyline and the background
Mhm.
and the appearance of what you've been reading or seeing. And so in The Little Mermaid, we are used to seeing um, redhead, a redheaded girl. And
Mhm.
so for me, I was expecting to see them cast, one of the redheaded actresses. Uh,
Mhm.
and so it was like, okay, great. I'm excited that she got a role, in a really big role. I know that she's gonna kill it, but at the same time, it kind of takes away from the storyline that we grew up seeing. And so I would say I would like Disney. This is cool. Okay, can we get another Black Disney?
Mhm.
I just want to say that I was really mad when they came out with Princess and the Frog. I boycotted it for like the first year that it was out because I'm like, okay, we finally get a princess and she turns into a frog, and I'm like I don't know. So that's just how I was just
I get it. I get it. I understand. Okay, let's shift gears a little bit. So there is a lot happening to our community.
Mhm.
There's a lot going on. A lot of lives have been lost, and just there's a lot of stuff. So my question is, this is a very broad question, so you can kind of take enough of it to kind of put your arms around. But how do you think we're treating one another? We get the outside stuff, but how do you think we're doing in terms of treating one another?
I think we're doing better.
Okay.
Like I was saying, like talking about like colorism, I think lots of things in the community are like a lot of conversations are starting to open up. Therefore, that's why I think we're getting better. So, um, gang violence or gun violence in our community, is a huge thing. Mental disorders in our community is a big thing that people don't want to talk about. Again, bringing up colorism, those are the type of things that up until I guess the last 2 or 3 years for me, I've personally been seeing more like young people coming out with podcasts and YouTube channels and ebooks and all these sorts of things to be able to talk about like what's going on in our community. And so it's not where we need to be, but at least the conversations are starting to be had.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So acting is is this your is this your thing, or is this sort of a catalyst to get you to somewhere else?
No, acting is my passion,
Okay.
and it's all passion, but
Okay.
I've just been able to dive into it about like I said, like 6 or 7 years ago. I was just able to get into it. But I was that kid that wanted to be everything, like a cook, a chef, an astronaut, designer. So there are definitely other things that I want to do, but at the end of the day, like at the end of the day, it's just me and acting. Like if I didn't do anything else, I would be happy acting for the rest of my life.
Okay. All right. So a couple more things before I let you go. First, we're gonna do a little Word association. I'm gonna give you a word. You say the first thing that that comes to mind. Okay.
Oh Lord. Okay.
All right. Black.
Power.
Church.
Communion.
Okay. Persistence.
Black women.
Consistency.
Success.
Change.
Is inevitable.
Father.
Wait, say that again.
Father.
Is the rock.
Mother.
The nurturer.
Family.
The foundation.
Money.
Mm, the necessity.
Okay. All right. All right. Very good. All right. Last thing. Do you have anything to promote before we let you go?
Let's see. Hold on, I gotta think. I got lost stuff.
Okay.
Let's see. Yes. Currently, I am working on my YouTube channel. So I started a YouTube channel about a year ago, where I talk about positivity, self-love, and it's also kind of behind the scenes of some of the stuff that I do. It's kind of slowed down a little bit since COVID, but since things are opening back up, I'm starting to be able to do more and to go more places. So the show is called The Palace. It's called The Palace, a Nashville vlog. So you can type in that whole thing or just a Nashville vlog and it should pop up. And then I am writing a Christmas film right now because I have never done a really cheesy Christmas movie. And I really want to do one, like one of the Hallmark ones. So I'm writing that now. And so I will have that hopefully on Amazon by New Year's.
Okay.
So, yeah. I think
Excellent. So let me make sure I understand. You're writing a cheesy Christmas film on purpose?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Because everybody loves cheesy Christmas movies that just make you excited about Christmas. And so, and I'm just cheesy. So, and I'm like the cliche girl. I love all the cliches,
Okay.
but with like a realistic twist.
Okay.
So that's what I'm working on now.
Okay. Excellent. All right. Well, that's all we got. Thank you so much for being a part of the show. We certainly look forward to hanging out with you again.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, ma'am. Much success. Talk to you soon.
Alrighty. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.